Generally speaking, I would wait until after Arson and Time Is On My Side race tomorrow to do my videos. At least do my opening. But I don't have that luxury because I have to leave after the races tomorrow and fly back to Ontario for my brother's wedding. Now, I guess I could do an opening with Tim. You know what? I'm not going to do an opening, but I'm going to do a video with Tim and talk about the horse with him. So I got to take this phone holder thing with me when I go to the Meadows tomorrow. Going to need to do that. So I'm going to do an opening for you, I guess. I want to talk about all the horses. This week, the 2-year-olds, I'll give you an abbreviated rundown on the 2-year-olds. We missed a day of training this week. We might miss tomorrow is what I mean. In Northfield, it's supposed to rain. Now the weather is changing, so we'll see how that plays out tomorrow morning. But Northfield, Wednesday, the horses trained great. The ones that didn't train great, 2 or 3 of them that had made breaks, I trained them on Thursday. I thought that Arrowhead Hanover trained like a monster on Thursday by himself. And there was one other horse I thought trained really, really good. I'll talk about that horse when I run through the 2-year-old list. But for the most part, the 2-year-olds are doing their work well. Now, 3-year-olds starting to come out of the woodwork. I guess my first take on Pickpocket's race day was a tiny bit lackluster. But I think that's only because our expectation of him is, hey, this is the horse we paid into the handball. This is the guy we paid into everything. This is the guy that's supposed to be going to New Jersey Sires. It's funny how expectations are. Everybody was so pumped about Memory and Imagination winning, and I got the feeling a little disappointed with Pickpocket. Pickpocket trotted in 55-1 last half and 56 last quarter and 28-1. And was beat by 3 aged horses. No, for sure, one of them was. Was he awesome? No. Was he horrible? Absolutely not. But he just didn't live up to our expectations today. It was also worth noting, it was his first start of his 2024 campaign. Cut him some slack, is what I'm trying to say. Memory and Imagination was fantastic. By all accounts, Time Is On My Side and Arson are both coming into their races razor sharp. Tim said he trained exceptionally good on Monday. So I'm impressed. But once in a while I get accused of sugarcoating everything. It's my optimism. I'm an optimistic person. I think it's kind of wasteful. Somebody said, well, you got to be realistic. Yeah, but usually when somebody says you got to be realistic, they're a pessimistic person. Everybody I know that says, hey, you got to be a little more realistic. No, you just are a very pessimistic person, and I don't really want to be that way. I'm going to try to find the good in every horse we have, or every situation we have. And it's not always going to be that way. Why did everybody just go into this lane all of a sudden? Oh, that's why. It's all about perception, right? How do you perceive Pickpocket race today? So lots of people say, geez, I wish I had a 3-year-old that was 4th, beat a length in 55 his first start back on the last quarter in 28. Wish I had one of those. Nice horse. So it's not always optimistic, right? Victory Blue Chip just made 2 breaks in a row after a very good start to his 2024 campaign. Ready for landing, shut his air off. I was waiting for his race to come up. I just couldn't wait. I hope James puts him on the front. I'd love to see this horse race good tonight. Instead, he gets jammed up in the first turn. It looked like he was okay. Upon further review, you could see bruising in his palate and redness. And then after I asked James about it, he had said the same thing. Yeah, for sure, I shut his air off in the first turn, 100%. What are you going to do? It happens. Vaquero Blue Chip, probably one of the most disappointing storylines of the entire season for me, because I like the horse. Just has not come back good. And we're running out of reasons why, quite frankly. Along that same line, Mel Gibson has been very ordinary to come back. I had a long conversation with a partner of mine today about him. And it's hard It's really hard to accept a horse that was good last year isn't this year. There has to be a reason. There has to be a reason. It can be nature too, you know. Can't stay good all the time. But I think we may luck out with Mel Gibbs Swan, as it turns out. You know, when a horse races bad and you hear a noise, you scope the horse and there's nothing there, you think, oh, the horse is all right. It's not always the case. Sometimes those horses can be displacing intermittently in the mile, where they flip back, right? That reduction in airflow, even albeit for a very brief time, can really take away from the mile, really kind of weigh on the confidence of the horse, and really start to make some negative impact in his overall or her overall game. And I think that's what we're seeing with Mel Gibbs Swan. So we've moved to alleviate that. The first take on it, Dr. Tessa said maybe inject his palate area leading up to the race, which I asked what our options were, and he said we need to be a little more aggressive and we can trim his strap muscles, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So he scratched on Wednesday, and we're going to start back down the path with Mel Gibbs Swan when he heals up. It should only be a couple of weeks. But I'd much rather focus on the horses that are doing good. There's nothing you can do when the horses aren't doing bad. I made a baseball reference, and I'd said it to one of our clients, and I'd said it in a video this afternoon. You know, when a pitcher's struggling with the strike zone, you don't just sit him on the bench. No, get back out there. And a pitcher doesn't want to sit on the bench. They want to go back out there and work on the mechanics and get it right. These are professional athletes, I guess. These are baseball players are, and horses are too. Horses that, you know, when they're at the top of their game, it's hard to stay there, right? It's hard to get there. It's even harder to stay there. And it's easy to slide. And as I was discussing with somebody today, you know, when you think about it, the standardbred world is creeping slowly towards a thoroughbred world, where just a little bit of a slide is such a major difference sometimes. And that's what we're seeing with some of these horses. But our guns, I'm not disappointed now when I step back and look at things from a different lens. Very happy with what I've seen from Memory and Imagination. Tremendous outing today. Happy and excited about Arson and about Time Is On My Side. And Pickpocket, give him a few starts. They don't always transition right away, and it is worth noting that was his first start on Lasix, and also that he did not bleed today. So that's a great start. You can hear that. There is rain starting here on my way home. Horses that I thought were maybe on their way out. At least one for sure that I thought raced great this week was Blanton's Blue. You know, I had an email from a client, Paula, a couple of weeks ago. She was a little upset that we sold Sedona Hill. And he is a partner of mine on Blanton's Blue also, and was wondering my stance on him. They are what they are, and if he can come forward, then great. If he's not, then, you know, at some point his days will be numbered in the stable. As long as he has lots of room to move and we have paths to race him on, there's no need to get rid of him. But as they narrow, it's a different story. But he took the matter into his own hands the other night and raced. Maybe you don't see it because he trotted in 58 before. He looked okay before, but the horse I drove the other night was infinitely better than the horse I have been driving before. So he's getting better. When it comes to the babies, very, very happy with what I've seen from our younger horses. You know, when it comes to the rookies, this is the time of year when we start to see that separation, right? The ones that can really dance kind of start to step away from the other ones, but you got to be careful because there's some horses hidden in there that are just waiting. They get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better every week. And Amy and I were talking about it the other night, and I said, I'm going to tell you one thing. I don't know how deep Gorgeous Package is. I don't know what her ceiling is. But I can tell you one thing. For the foreseeable future, We have some good pacers in Ohio right now, 2-year-olds. They're going to have some trouble. She's going to give them fits for the next month or so. She looked very good training the last 2 weeks. Then you get another horse. I had emails all winter about Aunt Lily. How's she coming? Gee, she looks rough. She looks sloppy. She's a big, giant baby. That's why she looks sloppy. I put her on the front the other day. Whew. She tightened that baby fat up in a hurry. I hadn't gone with her in about a month. I went with her the other day. Oh my God. She absolutely toyed with them and drove away. She felt very, very good the other day training. Very good. I'd said to you just in passing a week ago, if we race the next generation today, Freedom Hill would be the one going to the next generation. We're not racing it today. We're racing it in July. I can tell you one thing. It's not so cut and dry anymore. If you again, a week later, you're going to put me on the spot and say, which one? Might have been on Lily now. She looked amazing training the other day. And that was mile 16. It's one of the fastest miles any of her babies have gone. Not only did she do it, I sat fourth, come with a big charge at the quarter pole, cleared off the lead, and toyed with them, drove away from them. She looked very, very good in training. Very happy with her. So you never know, right? We always have horses that look good, and we have hopes with Captain Incredible. Country Dancing. The reports coming out of Pennsylvania are very encouraging. Just a number of very talented horses, but they gotta continue to go forward. They have to continue to push. They have to get tight. They have to get stronger. They have to understand their game, and they have to want to go out on the track and beat up on everyone else and then execute. That's what they have to do. So there's still a lot to cover between now and any sort of winter circle in the summer. But I can tell you it is encouraging. It is encouraging to see a lot of these horses come forward the way they are. Just looking down the list quickly. You know, I'm not going to name names, so we hear all after. But I'm very excited about what I see from our younger horses. Our race horses, too, have been doing very well. Stay Close, an easy winner in 53. And Dave Plone said he jogged. He said, what a nice horse. He's not a pretty horse to look at. It's funny because I always say, about a year ago, when he won at 52, Scotty had made, I have to call you back. Scotty made reference to him saying, I can't believe a horse that looks that awful goes that fast. Something like that. I said he just wants it more than everybody else. He's a nice horse. And it's funny because that choppy kind of gait is what I see in other horses like Trevino on Green. When you see them trotting, they got that, it looks like they got a rubber boot on their hind leg. They don't all have this beautiful, slick gait. It just doesn't happen that way. But it's all about how smart they are and how bad they want it. Of course, they have to have talent. The talent can only take you so far. I want the ones that want to beat up on the horses. I want the ones that want to show no mercy when they get on the track. Those are the ones that we want. And hopefully we have some of them. So, been very, very happy with what I've seen so far this year training them. Obviously, we spent some more money. We bought some deeper pedigrees, and it doesn't always work, right? The first one that we jumped in and bought for a ton of money was Brace for Landing, and although I like him, he's a long way from climbing out of that financial hole. Doesn't always work out. And then I thought it was rinse and repeat with Time Is on My Side. I'm like, oh my God, these Captain Crunches, I don't know. And then at 2, he was very ordinary. We cut him and brought him back. Now he wins in 55, and one of the favorites tomorrow, and definitely one of the leading storylines going into tomorrow is he's undefeated in 2024. And he'll get beat at some point. Might be tomorrow. But he's a good horse, regardless. Very good horse. So our storylines will be on display over the next few weeks also. Memory and Imagination. Look to win that class again, hopefully, or racing it anyway next week. And then off to, I think he's solidified his entry into the Bunker Hill at Plainridge. So he'll be down there on the 16th of May, I believe. He'll enter Massachusetts. So worth noting also, all my partners, make sure that you have a Massachusetts license for Memory and Imagination, because barring any unforeseen issues or major injuries between now and then, you're going to see him in Plainridge in Massachusetts. Pickpocket, don't get down with the horse. Don't think that he can't jump forward. He's a different built horse than Memory. Memory's a smaller, compact, looks like a little pit bull, where Pickpocket's got a bigger, heavier frame. The good takeaway from today was, although he is on Lay's exit, no blood, no issues in that regard found. Last quarter in 28-1, last half 56, mile in 55 against 8 horses. Try not to stray too far from that. Just use the facts. And then tomorrow we get to see the Pacers go. And I've been very happy also. In Ohio, it wasn't a great start to Gypsy Hill season. And although you might look and say, oh, Gypsy Hill, you beat 57-4 yesterday, who cares? You might care in a few weeks. There's a different horse emerging from Gypsy Hill, a better version of Gypsy Hill than we even thought we had. The speed means nothing. I don't care about the speed. The race was set up to go in 57-4. I already know he can go much faster. But his confidence is growing a lot, really fast. And I can't wait to see the better version of Gypsy Hill that's going to emerge here in the not next week. He'll be good next week. He'll be good the week after. Just give him 3 or 4 more starts like that, and you're going to see a big mile out of Gypsy Hill. Mark my words on that. Irresistible Sun was awesome yesterday. Very, very good yesterday. Really impressed with him. And on the filly side, I think we have to temper our expectations, at least in hindsight. I mean, when it comes to Purple People Eater. It was a filly that tied up bad. It wasn't really tight going into that race and still trotted in 57. It's a hell of a mile. She didn't bleed. We thought she bled. Scoped her, no blood. I doubt you're going to find she tied up very much. I think she was just tired. So I like I like the position we're in with them. Now we are maneuvering some of our horses to potentially put them in a spot to get some good lines on and move. J-Port Beach Boy is in Ohio. He trained this morning. Trained very, very good at Northfield Park for Jason Merriman. I was really happy to hear that. Kings County has returned from Kentucky. He trained very good this morning for Jason McGinnis. Probably, maybe a start in the Meadows next Thursday. I'm not positive yet. Greatest Ending is training tomorrow. He fits in onwards of nothing. Where do we race him? We race him at Northfield. We race him at the Meadows. Scioto. I don't know yet. I'm going to find a spot for Greatest Ending at some point down the road. Patrick's got a few weeks off, and then he'll return. I'm happy with what we've seen. Now is where things start to get interesting, right? Now we got a pretty good idea what our horses can or can't do, or the path that they're on. I've been happy with the ones we've asked. Sure, there have been some horses that have disappointed this year, and that won't change. That is just the nature of horse racing. But there's been some very good miles so far, and I think we're just seeing the tip of it. So I'm very, very happy with what I've seen thus far. So for the pessimists out there, yes, we've had some horses that haven't raced good. We can do. But for the optimists out there, a pretty powerful barn right now as we head into summer and the bulk of the stake season of 2024. So we get a good look, a good view at what the 3-year-olds are doing, where they're at, where they need to be, how we'd like to get them there. 2-year-olds, we haven't even scratched the surface yet. We're just getting them geared up, started up. I hope that I can bring a definitive date this week for you for an open house at Northfield Park, and then we're going to try and do something interesting for breakfast with the babies type thing for Ontario at Mohawk, and that's going to be the plan, I believe, as we head into the summer. So with that, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to attach the Friday today's video in your videos this week, because a lot of what I would have put in an opening is in there. A lot of information jammed into 40 or 50 minutes of me rambling on Friday. I'll get Kelly to attach that video also. But for now, I think I've touched on a lot of what's going on. I'm obviously, I don't mean to dismiss horses. Looks Like Money raced good the other day. He's back in. It's not lost on me that, again, they've used Yo Mister in the Open. I'm watching that very, very carefully. It's not lost. I didn't miss it. So we still continue to have storylines that are developing, that have developed, and hopefully that will develop and we're going to be keeping a very close eye on all of them. So with that, I'm going to let you go. It is Friday evening now. I hope you guys are starting to have, or I guess when you see this video, have already had a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you all very soon.